Hi, Sarah. Thanks for coming back in to see me for our second session. How are you doing today?
I'm okay. I'm not doing it. I'm just alright.
Yeah?
Kind of blah.
Just okay, kind of blah?
Yeah.
Well, how have you been feeling since the last time we talked?
Not really any better.
Mm-hmm.
About the same. Still dreading talking to people and going around them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, still dreading those social situations
Yeah.
like we briefly got into last time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, has anything significant happened in the past week to make you feel this, or you're just kind of still...
Well, I kind of had plans with my cousin and she kind of blew me off, so I just assumed it was because she didn't want to hang out with me.
Yeah. So your cousin blew you off. That's kind of tough.
Yeah.
Tough to deal with. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, but I'm glad that we get to continue our work in this session. So I'll just go over our agenda for the day, if that's okay with you.
Yeah.
So this is my plan for our session today. I want to have you fill out the feelings worksheet that you completed for me last time. That's just really helpful for me to get a gauge of the progress we're making in our therapy sessions and your feelings from session to session, and hopefully they improve. I know you said that you're kind of feeling the same as when we met last time, so the questionnaire will help me get a good sense of that as well. And I then want to talk to you more about the issues you brought up in our first session. Like we talked about how you're just kind of feeling awkward in social situations, like people don't want to be around you or hang out with you, or you're kind of feeling like people purposely blow you off because they don't want to hang out with you. And then hopefully, if we have time, we can talk about your homework assignment that I had asked you to complete last time about calling up or making a list of 5 friends that you would feel comfortable calling up and asking to hang out with. And then if there's anything else that you want to talk about or bring up in our session, just feel free to let me know. So how does that sound for today?
That sounds good.
Okay, awesome. So I'm just going to have you fill out the feelings worksheet for me. It's the same exact thing that you filled out last time. Okay, and I'll just score it really quick. So it looks like you reported, you scored about the same as last time. You're still endorsing that you're feeling down and depressed and feeling bad about yourself, which are the same items that you scored high on in the first session when I had you complete this. So tell me a little bit more about this. What sort of things have you been thinking and feeling lately?
Well, I don't know. I just kind of feel like whenever I go out in public or whenever I try and talk to someone, they're just kind of staring at me and judging me. I feel like when I hear someone laughing, that they're making fun of me because they think I'm ugly or that I smell or something. And I mean, when I actually have a conversation with someone, I just feel like I'm so awkward that they try to get away from me as soon as possible. I just basically feel like everyone around me hates me and just thinks that I'm not the right person to be around.
Mm-hmm. So you're kind of feeling like you're super awkward in these social situations and you kind of can't help that. And as a result of that, people think you're awkward and don't like you and don't want to hang out with you. So you'd rather just not engage in those social situations as opposed to trying and getting rejected or feeling like people are making fun of you or laughing at you or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know I briefly mentioned the concept of cognitive behavior therapy in our first session. And I'm thinking that this specific type of therapy would be really beneficial to you and help you work on the things that you are presenting with here in therapy. And cognitive behavior therapy works really well with people who present with signs of depression or loneliness or just having these negative cognitions about themselves or the world around them. And so CBT essentially revolves around the idea that when something happens to us, we use thoughts to interpret that event. And in turn, those thoughts influence our feelings and emotions and how we act on those feelings and emotions, so our behaviors. And sometimes those thoughts that we have can be negative thoughts about ourselves or the world around us. And most of the time, those thoughts come across as automatic negative thoughts, which means we might not always realize that they're occurring or happening in our mind because, they just pop up and we think about them and you don't even think twice about it. So these thoughts in turn, like I said, then go on to influence our reactions, including how we feel and how we act. So for example, you said you called your cousin, right? And you asked her to hang out and she didn't want to hang out with you. So there are two different types of thoughts that can occur. So person A might think, oh, she just didn't want to hang out with me because she was busy, so she couldn't hang out that day. Whereas person B might think, she didn't want to hang out with me because she doesn't like me and she thinks I'm awkward, right? So person B would feel sad that this person didn't want to hang out with them and didn't like them. And then that in turn might affect their decision to call that person again in a different situation because they don't want to get rejected again in the phone call, right? So over time, person B might have fewer friends or fewer people to call because they're avoiding these situations. So they're kind of cutting those people out, right? And they also might construct this negative, irrational belief. And these irrational beliefs are kind of our overarching core beliefs that we have that kind of are the central premise for all of our negative thoughts. So all of our automatic negative thoughts would fit into this overarching core belief. So that belief for person B might be, oh, I'm so awkward, which is why I don't have friends. So the whole point of CBT is to address these automatic negative thoughts and irrational beliefs like we see in person B, so we can kind of refute them and show the person, that's not always the case in every situation. So based on everything I just explained to you, can you kind of explain, what CBT means to you back in your own words and maybe apply that to, your own situation coming into therapy?
So it sounds like you're saying that in CBT, you look for the automatic thoughts, and which kind of means that behaviors are influenced by emotions that result from automatic beliefs that we may not even know that we're having.
Right, yep, exactly.
So in my case, I guess it would be that my belief is that no one around me likes me and then I'm too awkward and people just try to avoid me. And then my emotion, it makes me sad, which in turn makes me want to isolate myself and not go around people.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Sarah. So typically we have an event that happens, and those events influence our thoughts like you described. Those automatic negative thoughts occur, and that influences our emotions and feelings, which it also influences our behavior. So you're exactly right in that.
Okay.
So what do you think is one of your negative automatic thoughts?
So that I'm awkward and that people judge me and think that and they don't want to be around me because I'm just awkward and maybe I'm too ugly and they want to be seen with me.
Right. So that's a thought that might pop into your head and you might not even realize that it's occurring at the time, right? But it's still a negative thought that you have about yourself that's currently affecting your social situation. Okay, so on a scale of 1 to 10, how awkward do you think you are?
I'd say a 9. Probably, yeah, definitely a 9.
Definitely a 9. Okay,
Yeah.
So you consider yourself really high on the awkward scale.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now is there anyone you can think of who's maybe more awkward in social situations or gatherings than yourself?
Caitlin. Definitely my friend Caitlin that I go to school with, I would say that she's awkward more awkward than I am.
Okay, so you have someone you know, Caitlin,
Yeah.
who is just super awkward, would be like the most awkward person on the planet.
Yeah.
Okay, so on a scale of 1 to 10, would you consider Caitlin a 10?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. So now, compared to Caitlin, if you're comparing yourself to Caitlin, how awkward would you consider yourself on that scale?
I would say probably a 4 or 5.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, great. So a 4 or 5. So you're already considering yourself less awkward than when we initially started talking about this. So a 4 or 5 compared to Caitlin. So what are some instances maybe where you didn't feel awkward at all, or you actually felt comfortable in a social situation and like people actually wanted to be around you and hang out with you?
I guess my friends invited me to this party one time, and I didn't really feel awkward then, but there was a lot of people around, so I feel like the spotlight wasn't on me, so it actually caused me to relax a little bit. There was a lot of people that were there, so I definitely think that because I wasn't the focal point, I wasn't as awkward.
Okay, so you think that instance was different because the attention wasn't on you and the focus wasn't on you, so that's why you didn't feel awkward.
Yeah, everyone was kind of paying attention to what was going on. They were all like drunk and having fun, so it wasn't really, so it was like a different kind of situation pretty much, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it sounds like basically you kind of are feeling like you feel awkward in social situations and you kind of feel like maybe sometimes people are talking about you or whispering about you or laughing at you when you do try to make an effort and get into these gatherings or hang out with friends or something like that. And maybe you feel like sometimes people purposely don't want to hang out with you or don't answer your phone calls because they don't want to be around you. But at the same time, there are some social situations where you do feel comfortable, whether it's with certain people or because maybe the attention is less on you, so you do feel comfortable and you don't feel as awkward as other situations. Am I getting the gist of what we've been talking about so far?
Yeah.
All right, great. So we can already start to see some evidence of situations where actually you don't feel awkward at all and you are comfortable with certain people and you're enjoying their company, which is really good. So we're already kind of finding evidence that's contradicting this, oh, I'm so awkward, people don't want to be around me, right?
Yeah.
So I know you mentioned that you find that you prefer, when the focus isn't always on you. I'm just curious if you think there might be other reasons why people might be laughing or whispering at a party as opposed to, maybe making fun of you or laughing at you.
Well, I guess people would definitely be laughing if maybe something funny was going on and maybe they were in a conversation and something came up that was funny and that could be why they were laughing.
Mm-hmm.
I guess when people are whispering, they could be just talking and trying to be like intimately talking and just private rather than yelling their conversation so everyone around them can hear.
Mm-hmm. So we know that maybe it might not always be the case that people at a party are laughing at you or making fun of you, right? Like there could be other reasons for that and the attention isn't necessarily always focused on you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how does that make you feel to know that? Is that helpful to go into a social situation? Like maybe you can try to monitor if you hear people laughing at a party, is that helpful to know, okay, maybe step back, maybe they're not laughing at me.
Yeah, definitely helpful.
Yeah.
Kind of comforting.
Right, comforting, yeah, definitely. So how does it make you feel to kind of go through these steps of evaluating, the believability of your automatic negative thoughts that you held about yourself?
It makes me feel better because it actually brings to the forefront the fact that maybe I'm not always the reason why someone's I'm not the reason why someone's either blowing me off or laughing or anything like that. So it kind of makes me realize that the thought that I'm having or the feeling that I'm having that nobody wants to be around me and that I'm awkward is kind of silly and not really true, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm really impressed that you're recognizing that, because I can tell that you're kind of grasping this whole concept of cognitive behavior therapy, because you're recognizing that, you do have this thought about yourself that reflects how you feel about yourself. But not only that, you also kind of project that onto other people, and you kind of say, oh, they must think that I'm awkward as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's really good that you already recognize that, because it's going to make it much easier to work on that behavior and kind of recognize it and combat it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I want to talk about your homework assignment that I'd assigned for you.
Okay.
So I had asked you to make a list of about 5 or so friends that you would feel comfortable calling up and asking them to do something with you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how did that homework assignment go?
It went pretty well. I was able to come up with some names of people that I feel comfortable talking with and that I'm not afraid to talk to.
Okay, good. So I'm glad you were able to come up with a list. And how was that for you? Was it easy or difficult?
It was so-so. I mean, it was in between. Some of the names were easy. I was able to come up with right off the bat, and then the couple others, I was questioning whether or not I felt as comfortable with that I could talk to, and that I didn't have the thought that they thought I was awkward.
Mm-hmm. So we had a couple maybes on the list.
Yeah.
Okay, so who was the first person on the list that you were like, no problem, yep, I could call this person?
The first person, Stephanie.
Stephanie. Okay,
yeah.
So your friend?
Yes.
Okay, so your friend Stephanie, you would feel totally comfortable calling up and asking to do something with.
Yes.
Okay, so let's do a little role play. We're going to pretend like I'm Stephanie and you are Sarah yourself, and you are going to call me up on the telephone and ask me to do something with you. Whatever you want, whether it's going out to lunch, going to the movies, going to dinner, whatever you want to do.
Okay.
All right, so let's pick up our phones.
Ring, ring.
Hello?
Oh, hey, Steph, what's up?
Oh, nothing much, Sarah. What's up with you?
Nothing. I was just wondering if you wanted to go to dinner later on, if you were free.
Later on today? Oh, geez. I'm actually, busy. My boyfriend asked me to go out to dinner with him, so I'm busy tonight.
Okay. Okay, bye then.
Oh, click. Bye. Okay. So, that was good. I'm glad that you asked and felt comfortable with that. But you might run into an instance like I brought up with you where a friend is busy or can't do that particular day or time or something like that. And so I want you to be prepared to run into a problem like that. So instead of just, giving up there and hanging up the phone, we want to kind of brainstorm some other options that we could do that maybe wouldn't end the conversation right there or would open it up for other options. Okay. So instead of just, being like, okay, she's busy, see ya, what is another question you could ask her or inquire about?
I could ask her if she was available for a different day to go to dinner.
Great, yeah, definitely. You could ask her a different day. What else?
Maybe do something else besides dinner. Maybe nights don't work for her, so maybe if we go to lunch or we can do something else during the day or on the weekend, I guess.
Yeah, that's a great idea. All right, so let's try that role play again, okay? And this time I want you to use your problem-solving skills like you just did and basically solve the dilemma if I'm still busy.
Okay.
All right, so let's pick up our phones.
Ring, ring.
Hello.
Oh, hey, Steph, what's up?
Oh, nothing much, Sarah. What's going on?
I was wondering if you were available to get dinner later.
Oh, tonight I'm actually busy. I'm going to dinner with my boyfriend.
Oh, okay. Are you available any other time this week to go and do something?
Oh, yeah. Let me check my calendar. I could do lunch tomorrow if you're free for lunch.
Lunch tomorrow seems fine. Great.
All right. Awesome, Sarah. I'll see you then.
See you then. Bye.
Bye. All right. See, so that was much better, and I'm sure you feel much more relieved that you would actually have set plans with someone.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So For your homework for our next session, I want you to call up a friend exactly like we just did and make plans with them for some day next week.
Okay.
Doing whatever you want to do, feel comfortable doing.
Okay.
Okay? And it can be Steph if you want to call, if you feel most comfortable calling Steph.
Okay.
I have no problem with that. And I also want you to start keeping a journal of your thoughts. So basically, like we talked about in the beginning of our session today, how we have these automatic negative thoughts. So anytime you have a thought like that, whether it be, you know, these people in this restaurant are laughing at me, or I don't want to go out to dinner with my friends because I'll be awkward. Whatever thoughts you have that are negative, I want you to try to recognize them and then write them down in your journal.
Okay.
And when we meet next session, we can start talking about more of these negative thoughts and get into the specific ones that you're having.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, I can do that.
Is there anything else you want to address in our session today?
No, I think that's it.
All right, great, Sarah. Well, then I will see you next week.
All right, see you next week.
See ya.